Mia Local Poultry Farm. Again, welcome to another exciting episode of the Farm with Us, where we get to answer all your questions right here in our classroom. Mia Local Poultry Farm is located in Chenjojo District along Fort Potro Road. That's where you'll find our farms. Please don't hesitate to dial our numbers below on your screen or visit our farms if you need 1-day-old chicks, if you need 1-month-old chicks, if you need those hens at a point of lay, those of you who don't want to suffer in the brooder, suffer with all these birds for all the time, all you need is to pick your eggs. Please dial our numbers. Those are the point of lay chicken I'm talking about. We sell each at 40,000 shillings. Even the roosters, those that are ready to serve your birds, those that are ready to eat, please just give us that call and we will serve you better as always. Those of you who need farm training, please endeavor to visit our farm. Don't forget Chenjojo District along Fort Potro Road in a trading center called River. That's where you're going to find most of our facilities, and that's where our main farms are. Today we want to continue with the Farm with Us episodes where we get to answer your questions. I know it has been a while since we last communicated to you, or since we last uploaded our last episode. We had a few challenges, but I believe, thank God, all the challenges have been sorted and we are able to continue. We had a few challenges with our YouTube account. That's why you're not able to communicate to you. But right now, everything has been sorted and we believe this is the best place to be. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today, someone wants us to talk about the different diseases. We're going to talk about 7 diseases. The 7 common diseases that are associated with the local poultry. So we're not talking about all the diseases because we cannot finish. Every day a new disease comes out, a new outbreak comes out in local poultry. But there are those major diseases that always attack our birds, especially our local birds. These are the ones we are going to discuss about. So please get your pen, get your paper. Let's study together. Now, in this episode, I'm going to concentrate more of trying to explain what this disease is, what causes this disease, so that you can know, instead of just cramming that this is a disease called Marex and this is how it is treated. No, this is not how we do it at MIA. At MIA, we explain so that you can best understand that disease, so that you are able to do away with this disease. Remember, prevention is better than cure. Rather than curing this disease, how about you prevent it from attacking your flock? So this is what we are majorly going to be talking about in this episode. All right, our disease number 1 is Malex. Malex. Others call it Marex, others call it Malex. Whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. But let's try to understand this disease. Now, what is Marex? Now, Marex disease is the number 1 killer. This is the last disease that you'd ever wish to attack your flock. Okay? Marex disease is the number 1 killer that can ever attack your flock. In most cases, if it attacks your local poultry or any other kind of poultry, if you're attacked by Marex, you may not survive with any of your flock, any of your birds. Now, how does it come about? Now, I'll give you an example. We have one farmer called Peter who is rearing his birds from his farm. Now, at the point of hatching or at the point of incubating his eggs, okay, he's going to collect his eggs, bring them to this one. Let's assume we have one center where we all take our eggs to hatch so that we can get the chicks. Remember, the chicks, that is the business. Okay? Now, he collects all his eggs from his farm and brings them to this single hatchery point. Okay? Pays his money and his eggs are put into the incubator. Now, let's assume Mia Local Poultry Farm also collects their eggs, brings them to the same incubator. Okay, and maybe you have Mary doing the same, we have Paul, and so have you. Now, we have different people that have brought their eggs from different farms. Remember, these eggs are collected from different farms to the same incubator or the same hatchery point. Now, in most cases, you're going to find that the first person, Peter, maybe had, let's say, fall typhoid that had affected his birds, his parent stock, those mother hens, where he collected the eggs from. Now, these eggs are, in most cases, going to come with those, can I call them the bacteria of that disease he has at his farm. Let's say fall pox. Now, Mia maybe was affected by Newcastle disease. He does the same thing. Now, my eggs are going to come with those bacteria of the Newcastle disease. Now, Mary comes with the eggs and they have maybe another disease, let's say avian flu. Now, Tom comes with his eggs and maybe they have another disease, maybe let's say fall typhoid or any other thing, Gumboro, what have you. Now, a collection of all these bacteria that cause these different diseases, or a collection of all these diseases from different farms coming with the eggs to this single incubator or single hatchery point. Now, a combination of all these is what brings out what we call Marek's disease. Now, Marek's disease, in most cases, we call it the HIV/AIDS in poultry. It has no cure. Once it has attacked you, trust me, you may have to do away with that flock and go back to zero, start afresh. Now, Marek's disease, it has no cure. Secondly, Marek's disease can be vaccinated. Remember what we said, if we are vaccinating a disease, we vaccinate a disease before it attacks our flock. Okay? Before that disease attacks our flock, we should vaccinate it. Now, Marek's disease is vaccinated at day 1. Okay? The moment these chicks come out of the eggs, immediately the first thing you do is to vaccinate them against Marek's disease. We usually vaccinate them against 2 diseases, Marek's and then Newcastle. We're going to see Newcastle next. Now, Marek's can be vaccinated at day 1. In case Marek's is not vaccinated at day 1, please vaccinate it immediately when you get to know that your chicks were never vaccinated against Marek's. It's not so much recommended that you do it after 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks. But if you get to know that your flock was never vaccinated at day 1, please vaccinate them immediately, so long as they have not yet got that disease. But very much better you do it once and at day 1. Now, this Marek's disease, how does it attack our birds? Now, the Marek's disease, first of all, its incubation period is 3 months. Okay? So you can rear all these birds from 1 day to 3 months without knowing that they were not vaccinated or that they have Marek's disease. So your birds will be sick and you'll not know until at 3 months, when the signs and symptoms can start coming out. Okay? So don't forget, if you get to know that your birds were never vaccinated, please vaccinate them immediately. But much better, you buy from reliable sources, or if you are a breeder, please make sure that at day 1 you breed all the birds against, you vaccinate all the birds against Marek's disease. So, very, very important. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of Marek's disease? At 3 months, remember we said the incubation period is 3 months. Now, the first sign and symptom you're going to know that your birds have Marek's disease. Remember, these signs and symptoms in most cases are the same. You'll find the same for Gombolo, the same for Newcastle, the same for Marek's, so I'll be repeating them. It doesn't mean that if you come and you find your bird has green diarrhea, it's automatically Newcastle. Okay? Most of the signs and symptoms are the same. So, what are the signs and symptoms of Marek's disease? Number one, your birds are going to lose appetite. Now, you're going to find that you have loss of appetite in your birds. In most cases, you get to your stock or your flock, put in the feeds, and then you're supposed to feed them maybe after 4 hours. By the time you come at 4 hours, all the feeds are still there. So these birds have not fed. Please, don't start jubilating that you're saving the feeds. No, there is a problem with your birds. Now, the first one is going to be loss of appetite. Now, what is the second one? Now, when they lose appetite, in most cases, remember they are not eating. Now, they're going to drop their weight. You find that a bird was at, let's say, 2.5 kilogram. You come after a few days and it has about 0.5 kilograms. You hold it and it's as if you're holding feathers. Now, that is the second sign of Marek's. Now, what is the third one? Now, these chicks are going to start getting paralyzed. Okay? It moves and it cannot move. It stays in one place. And then the last one is going to be massive death. You're going to start experiencing massive death. You have about 1,000 birds in your flock, and then you come, 30 of them are dead. After a few hours, maybe another 30 or 20 are dead, and it's so uncontrollable. So, like I told you, Marek's has no chemical cure. You can decide to go herbal. We always show you and teach you different herbal medicines here. So you can try herbal, but it has no chemical cure. So, very important, please get birds that have been vaccinated against Marek's at day one. Now, this takes us to our second disease. I'm going to be a little bit fast in these diseases. I have a little bit of headache, so I'll not be able to talk for long, but I'm going to try and make sure that I explain everything in detail. So, sorry guys, where I go in a little bit in a rush and I'm not able to exhaust everything. But I'll try to make sure that you understand everything. Now, our next disease is Newcastle disease. Now, Newcastle disease, not the Newcastle football team, okay? We are talking about the diseases here, guys. Now, Newcastle disease, that is the second killer disease after Marek's being number one. Now, Newcastle disease, how does it come about? And what is it? Now, Newcastle disease, this is a disease that usually comes, first of all, it is airborne. Secondly, it usually comes about during the dry season. Okay? During the wet season, we're going to look out at Gombolo. That's when Gombolo is much spread. But during the dry season, this is when Newcastle is so rampant in our flock. Now, this disease can be transferred. Okay? You can be moving on your way, you step in poop of another chicken that was suffering from Newcastle, and then step in your farm, and even a fly can just go and step in that poop, spread it to your chicken house. Or you yourself, you can move into your chicken house, maybe if you have not disinfected very well, or it can even, like I told you, it's an airborne disease. It can even come through the wind. Now, Newcastle disease is also vaccinated at day one. However, we don't stop vaccinating Newcastle disease. Marek's is vaccinated only once at day one. But at day one, we also vaccinate Newcastle disease. However, we don't stop there. After 7 days, we vaccinate again against Newcastle disease. And then I think we shall do it at about after 14 days. I think at around 21 days. We always give you a chart that you follow when you're going to vaccinate these diseases. Most of you have requested for this chart, even if you have not bought these birds from us. We have always tried to avail these charts for you, and I think you guys are following them wherever you are. So, even when the vaccination schedule stops, every month when you remain with these mother hens, every month, please try to make sure you vaccinate them against Newcastle. Every month, vaccinate them against Newcastle, because Newcastle can attack them at any time. It doesn't matter whether they are young or they are old. Okay? So Newcastle, just like Marex, doesn't have a chemical cure. However, we can try to bring it down using different chemicals or different medicines, but it doesn't have a specific cure for it, just like Marex. Now, what are the signs and the symptoms of Newcastle disease? Now, remember I told you most of the symptoms are the same. Now, the first one, you're going to get green diarrhea. So, enter your flock and then you start noticing that they have diarrhea and it has that green or yellow greenish. You know that yellow that is almost turning green? That one. Now, that is one of the signs of the Newcastle disease. Okay? Now, what is the second one? Still, they are going to get paralyzed. In most cases, your birds are going to getting paralyzed at a point where they may not even be able to walk. And now they're going to start twisting their necks. Okay? You come, it twists the neck, it wants to look up the other side, then it twists its head to the back. It keeps twisting its neck all the time. Once you see this sign in your poultry, just know you have been attacked by Newcastle disease. And in most cases, when it starts twisting its neck, it has gone at a very bad stage. So, much better rush and try to do something to your flock before all of them are gone. Then the other one, they're going to start shivering, they're going to lose appetite, just like we looked at in the Marex disease. And also you're going to have massive death. They're going to die in large numbers. Okay? So, we have talked about Marex, we have talked about Newcastle. Now, what is our disease number 3? Our disease number 3 is Gumboro. Gumboro is the third killer disease in poultry, whether local poultry, whether all the poultry. Now, how does Gumboro come about? Like we said in the previous disease, Gumboro is mostly spread during the wet season. Okay? This season where there are too many rains, that's when Gumboro is most spread. Now, Gumboro can attack your birds at any time. Its incubation period is just hours. Just like Newcastle, its incubation period is also just hours. Like you can wake up in the morning and your flock is okay. Just after 2 hours, it has been attacked by Gumboro and they are dying. So, just in a few hours, Gumboro can attack your birds and they will start dying. It's not like Marex where it's going to spend about 3 months before, it can come out. This one is just hours, same as Newcastle disease. Now, what are the signs that your birds have been attacked by Gumboro? Okay? Now, the first symptom you're going to find in your birds, especially those are the birds in the brooder, they are going to start huddling together. They get a certain corner and all of them huddle inside there. Now, this one doesn't stop at the brooder. Even the old birds, the mature birds, 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6, 1 year, they can also be attacked by Gumboro and they will start huddling together. Now, once you start seeing your birds are huddling together, you know they have been attacked by Gumboro. Now, huddling together, why are they huddling together? In most cases, they are looking for warmth. Remember we said Gumboro comes in during the wet season, when there is too much coldness. Sometimes it's a rainy season, there's a lot of wind coming into your let's say your brooder or your chicken house. Now, these chicken are going to start feeling cold and they're going to start looking for warmth. Now, when this cold enters them, it's what causes gumboro in them. Okay, I think it's very clear. So you enter your chicken house and they're all huddling in one corner. In most cases, some of them will even suffocate in that corner and die. Okay, just know you have a problem of gumboro. Now, once you have a problem of gumboro, it's advised that at least, even if your chicken are old, please try to put in some pots with the charcoal so that they can have the warmth. Okay, if you have very little heat in your brooder, your chicken are going to suffer from gumboro. And treating, remember I told you, treating is very expensive. You rather prevent than treat. Okay, but always at your farm, I always encourage you to be having at least some sackets of gumbo stop. So once you realize that your birds have gumboro, please use gumbo stop to stop the gumboro. Now, if you have your old birds, I'm going to give you a few tips. Remember I told you I'll be giving you a few tips. So most of you who keep skipping our videos, you watch from the 10th minute and then skip to the 30th, you're going to be missing most of these things. Now I'm going to give you a tip that no one will ever give you. Okay? What do I want you to do for me? I want you to get for me, when you come and your flock has been affected or attacked by gumboro, I want you to get for me a kilogram of sugar. Okay, a kilogram of sugar. This is normal sugar that we take. Then you get for me 6 tablespoons of salt. Okay, a kilogram of sugar, mix in 6 tablespoons of salt. Okay, mix together in 20 liters and then give your birds if they are at that bad stage. It's like a first aid. Okay, so between 20 to 30, 40 minutes, they are going to stabilize. All of them are going to stabilize. They're going to assume as if they have been cured, but now this is where I want you to administer the medicine. Okay? You remember the formula? A kilogram of sugar, mix in 6 tablespoons of salt. Now mix in 20 liters and give your birds and they drink. In about 30 minutes, they are going to stabilize. They are not going to die. Okay? They're going to stabilize. Now, after stabilizing, then start administering the chemical medicine. So, that is a tip I wanted to give you on that. So, it's not at the end. Usually, people give tips at the end. No. For us, we just give the tips in between so that you can watch from the beginning to the end, because I don't assume that you would want to miss anything in whatever we teach. So, the other signs of gumboro, your chicken are going to start shedding their feathers. Okay, they're going to be shedding off their feathers. You come and all the feathers on the ground, just know your flock has been attacked by gumboro. The other one, they're going to have some chocolate diarrhea. Okay, they're going to have chocolate diarrhea. This can also mean your birds have been attacked by gumboro. Remember I told you the treatment, please try to have gumbo stop. I don't have a sacket of gumbo stop here in class, but I have been showing you these things in the practical. It's only that the practical or the other episodes have been in a different language, but we shall start doing them in English also. But most of you guys know that sacket of gumbo stop. So use gumbo stop to treat gumboro. It's also vaccinated. It's also a vaccination disease. So we usually vaccinate them at around I think 7 days, 14 days, and then later on. So gumboro can also be vaccinated. But don't forget that vaccination doesn't mean that it will not attack your flock. So when you vaccinate birds against a certain disease, it only means that you are making their body immune. Okay? So that when the disease comes and attacks them, it's going to be easier for you to to administer these chemical medicines, and they are going to cure. Our next disease is fowl-pox. Now, what is fowl-pox? What does it do to our poultry? How does it come about? How do we treat it? Okay, let's first understand the word fowl-pox. Now, there are two different diseases that start with fowl. There is fowl typhoid and there is fowl-pox. Okay, but now let's concentrate only on the pox. Now, fowl-pox, let's look at it as fibroids. Okay, now, first of all, how do you know that your birds are being affected by fowl-pox? First of all, they are going to start getting wounds. Okay, they are going to start getting wounds. You see, like this comb here, this red comb here, it's going to start getting things like wounds. Okay, they're going to get wounds everywhere, swollen head, even the feet, they're going to start getting wounds. So your birds are going to be getting wounds everywhere, everywhere, and everywhere. Okay, now these wounds are not going to stop at the external, on the legs, on the comb, eyes, maybe nose, and everywhere. No. Now, these wounds are going to attack these birds even in the internal organs. Okay? Let's go slow on this because it's very important that we get to understand and exhaust it very well. Now, inside the body of the bird, you see there is that part when you slaughter where you find eggs. Okay, now that is the part where the eggs are being formulated inside the bird. Now, when these wounds, when this fowl-pox attacks your chicken, it doesn't stop at attacking the exterior part of the chicken. It goes and also attacks that part where the eggs are being formulated. Now, when fowl-pox attacks that part where the eggs are being formulated, now it's going to stop the eggs from being formulated. It's just like you see fibroids in people. Okay, I don't know if that's the right pronunciation for that word, but you know, in ladies, you know, when they get these I don't know what they call them, but you know, these are swellings on the womb. Now, this is going to stop them from conceiving or becoming pregnant. Okay? Now, this is where they become barren. You find this one cannot produce, this one has this issue, the other one has this issue. Now, exactly just transfer that to the birds. Now, when they get fowl-pox, now, the fowl-pox doesn't stop at attacking it at the comb, the legs, and getting all these wounds. These are just signs and symptoms that inside there, things are not okay. Okay? Now you're going to have these birds and they're not going to be laying simply because they cannot formulate the eggs. That part where they're supposed to formulate the eggs has been attacked by fowl-pox. Just as it is in the people, this is what happens in the chickens. Now you're going to be feeding this chicken, thinking maybe it's giving you eggs, but it's not going to give you eggs until it's fully treated. In most cases, the chicken may not even give the eggs at all. Okay? I think I have labored to best explain that. So I think you understand what the fowl-pox means in this chicken. So the physical, or you can call the external signs and symptoms: wounds on the comb, swollen eyes, the wounds on the legs, wounds everywhere on the chicken. Now, this can best tell you that your birds have fowl-pox. Fowl-pox is vaccinated. We vaccinated, I think, at around 2 months. Coming to the 3rd month, this is when we are vaccinated. These are some of the last vaccines that we give our birds. Okay, so it's vaccinated once. Remember, vaccination doesn't mean it cannot be attacked. it attacks, but when it comes, just some slight chemical medicine and your birds are okay. So that is the fourth disease. Now, what is the fifth disease? The fifth one is going to be fall typhoid. Remember, I have fall pox and foil typhoid. Now, foil typhoid, just as you hear the word typhoid, in my local language we call it omusujja gwenkoko, something like that. Okay. Now, commonly meaning malaria or fever of the chicken. Now that is the typhoid. Now this fever of the chicken, what does it cause? How does it come about in the chicken? Now it's brought mostly by giving your chicken contaminated water. So this water that you give your chicken, please make sure it is clean, make sure it is tasteless, make sure it is odorless, just by physically looking at the water. Because you can look at the water and you know this water is clean, even without tasting it. You can look at the water and just smell and know it is odorless. Okay? Make sure this water is tasteless. Make sure this water doesn't have bacteria that are going to affect your birds. So don't just pick any water because this is a bird or this is an animal and you give your flow. You're going to kill this chicken. Now, this typhoid, what are the signs and symptoms? In most cases, you're going to have a white dropping. You're going to enter in your chicken house and on your floor, you're going to find some droppings have white patches. The whole dropping can be white, or if maybe this is a circle, a half of it is going to be white. Now you know you have been attacked by a fall typhoid. So very advised to administer the chemical medicine because it can be cured. In most cases at our farms, me here, Local Poultry, we use a medicine called tetravet. I will have the 25%, we have the 50%, and I think the 10%. So any of that can work. Okay? But please make sure you treat your birds. Now, we said on the symptoms, we have the white dropping, or the dropping partly of it, some part of it is white. So long as you see a dropping and a fraction of it or the whole of it is white, you know you have been attacked by typhoid. Now, the other one is going to be your chicken are going to be dull. Okay? They move and then every time they are dozing. Okay? All the time they are dozing off, they want to sleep off. They are dull, they don't have appetite, they are not eating. So most of these are all signs and symptoms of typhoid. Yes. So if I take you back, what have we talked about? Number one, we talked about Marex. We talked about Newcastle disease. Okay, we looked at all its symptoms. We talked about Gumboro. We talked about fowl pox. We talked about fowl typhoid. And now we can talk about, I think, avian flu. Flu is one of the most common diseases at our farms. So I always encourage you. You know, flu comes from so many things, just like flu in kids or in children. It comes from almost anything. It's airborne. It can be transmitted through a certain person who has it. So all these birds, in most cases, please keep giving them these preventive medicines. In most cases, if you can boil these local herbs, if you can give them charcoal, you know, you can get charcoal, you pound it and you mix in your feeds formula. I always advise you put at least 2%. Assuming you're going to make 100 kilograms of the feeds, 2% of it can be charcoal. Mix and give your birds. Okay? These local medicines, these things of giving them like pawpaw, give them these greens, all these can help to cure this commonly flu that is affecting your birds all the time. In most cases, when your birds have flu, in most cases they cannot even eat well. They lose appetite. Okay, sometimes they even start swelling the eyes. So in most cases, when you see your eyes, or the eyes of the flock is being swollen, in most cases it is flu. If you treat this flu, the eyes are going to come back to normal. So in most cases, please don't spend a week without giving those preventive flu chemical medicine. I mean the chemical or the herbal medicine to your birds. So in most cases, as the chicken is bending down to pick a feed, and it has this flu in the nose, so sometimes it's hard for it. Okay, sometimes it's very hard for it, so they resort to not feeding at all. Now this is going to make them lose weight. They're going to lose appetite. They're just going to be there. They can even die. So please, this flu is very, very, very common. Keep treating flu. Please never stop treating flu. Just like flu in the kids, every time they're playing, they come with this flu. So please don't be beating your children every time they come with flu. It's just a common thing. The other disease is called coccidiosis. Now, coccidiosis is a very, very, very common disease in our birds, and it is very easy to do away with it. How does it come about? Poor hygiene. Okay, so you people keep good hygiene at your farms. This is how you're going to do away with all these diseases. Okay, this business of pouring water all over your chicken houses. Okay, now when you pour this water, it pours on the litter, this litter that you put on the floor. Now they rot. Now when they rot, and these chicken, remember, they are eating everything that they come across. Now this is the one going to cause coccidiosis. Always try to keep your litter dry. Keep your chicken houses dry and clean. You'll not get coccidiosis anywhere. Now, what are the symptoms? Once you come inside your chicken house and you have this chocolate diarrhea that is smelly, in most cases it has even blood. Okay, this brown chocolate diarrhea, and then it has even blood in it. You come, your chicken have this diarrhea that has blood in it. That is automatically coccidiosis. Okay, you can administer some chemical medicine such as Cocid. There is a chemical called Cocid. There is another one called S-dime. There are so many. Okay, so like I told you, it's very important to have a mini pharmacy at your farm. Very, very important that you have a mini pharmacy. I will show you our mini pharmacy at our farm, because you cannot keep at your farm when you don't have things like Cocid, things like S-dime, things like we talked of the gumbo stop, very important. Things like the vitamins and the glucoses, such as glucovit, you need it at your farm. Things like Enrotril for the flu, because every time you're going to be treating flu. So in most cases, most of these medicines, buy them. They are not very expensive. About 10,000 shillings. I think that's about $3, $2, $1.5. Okay, in the other currencies, you can convert for yourselves. So buy these medicines and always keep them at your farm, even if you're not there. Train your boys, train these farm managers to know how to administer these drugs and keep them always at your farm. I'll give you a very live example. You're going to call a doctor to come and treat avian flu. Okay, avian flu, a dose can cost you $1. I think that's about 3,000 Ugandan shillings. But what is the cost of bringing a doctor from wherever he is to your farm to treat your birds, go back, come back the following day, treat your birds again, go back, come back the third day, do the treating? How many dollars are you going to splash? how much Ugandan shillings are you going to splash on his transport alone, his time, his labor, and the medicine? But now, you're going to buy this medicine. Even if you buy it $2, you're going to use this medicine for over a month or even 2 months. Okay? So you're using less than even $1 to do the same work that you're going to pay more than $20 to a doctor to come and do for you. So, you guys, if you need this training, please visit me at Local Poultry Farm. There are other people there who does very good training. They can train you. Sometimes we give you online trainings. This is not a training. Here we're just answering a few questions and trying to show you what you need to do to cut all these costs at your farm. But if you need serious training, please visit our farms, give us those phone calls, send us those WhatsApp messages, and we will take you through. Or if you can get the training from elsewhere, please get this farm training. Very important. There is no shortcut in this. Okay? So, very important. Get the training, get the basic knowledge, know how to administer these drugs, know what your birds are facing. If you call me to come and treat your birds, okay, before I even do anything, I'm going to ask you, okay, are your birds sick? Yes. What are they suffering from? You don't know. Okay? Now this is where the doctors are going to eat a lot of money from you. All you're telling your doctor is, my birds have swollen eyes, my birds have swollen eyes, they cannot see, they are dying. Okay? I will eat the money. I wouldn't want to eat this money alone. I want to eat this money with you. Okay? Because this is just flu that is disturbing your birds. And like I've told you, if you have like one bottle of Enrotriol or Enrochua, it can take you for even more than 4 months at your farm. You're going to buy this bottle about, let's say, $5, $3. That's about 15,000 Ugandan shillings. And it's going to take you for more than 4 months. But how many times are you going to call me to come to your farm in 4 months? And every time I'm coming there, I'm charging you more than $30. I'm charging you more than 100,000 Ugandan shillings. So, before you call me to come and eat your money, let's first share this money. Okay? First eat core on your money, and then call the doctor to come and enjoy your money. Treat your birds. In case there is no change, and then you think maybe now you really need to call a doctor to come and have a look, then go in for the doctor. I'm not saying don't go in for the doctor. Sometimes, if you have headache, you know what to do. Okay? You're not going to call a doctor from this biggest hospital to come and look at you because you have a headache. You know what you do. Administer the Panadol or the different, you know better in that kind of field. But do something to yourself. And then if it persists, then you can go and visit the doctor. So, this Panadol that is going to cost you $1 or even less, how much money would you have spent when you went straight to a medical doctor or a big hospital? You're going to spend more than 50 because there is consultation, there is this, saying here, saying there. All that is money. Guys, let's try to bring all these costs down. Okay? Get these simple trainings. Know what you need to do. Get your boys equipped with this knowledge and cut all the costs. Okay? Whenever you're treating, every time you're treating these birds, you're going to I'll give you another short example. I will be so fast on this. Now, every time you're treating your birds with these chemical medicines, remember I told you prevention is better than cure. This is another tip I'm giving you. So, every time you're treating these birds, they have flu, you treat. Tomorrow they have fall typhoid, you treat. The other time it is pox, you treat. So every time you are just giving medicines. First of all, you're using a lot of money. Secondly, Now these medicines, they become too much in this chick's body. Now you see there is that insulin that it's called the pancreatic, that green thing when you cut the chicken, that is next to the liver, that produces that pancreas, or that insulin. Now that thing is going to burst when it gets too much medicine. Now when it bursts, now this is going to start causing your liver, the liver of your chicken, to start swelling. Okay, before you know it, your birds are dying, your birds are, coming up with different issues. This is because you are administering too much drugs. Okay, just like a person, assuming today you have a headache, you're taking medicine. Tomorrow you have typhoid, you're taking this medicine. The other day there is a fever, the other day there is this one, the other day there is this one. Drugs reach and they are too much in your body. They can even lead to death. Now this is what happens to your birds. That's why I always tell you, please, always prevent. Okay, let's go in for the preventive measures than the treating. Fine, we can treat, but these drugs, they become too much in the chicken body, this small chicken body, and now it even loses it, and then this can cause death. You find your birds are dying, they are dying, and you don't even know why they are dying, but you have given them too much chemical medicine. Okay, so it's very important, guys, keep your place clean so that you can prevent things like coccidiosis, things like the typhoid. Okay, we said typhoid, it comes from administering poor water or contaminated water to your birds. These things of giving contaminated feeds to your birds, like I'll give you an example. Someone wanted to come and sell to me contaminated feeds, just because he says, you see, this maize, this broken maize, I can sell it to you cheaply because you are going to give it to the birds. So he cannot sell it to the people because it has overstayed and it is contaminated, but he wants me to give it to my birds. But I have invested a lot of money in my birds. Why would I want to kill my birds just because of this small fraction that this person wants to reduce for me on this broken maize? So these are some of the things we look at. Someone is reducing for you 100 shillings off a kilogram of maize because this maize has overstayed. It has even become yellow. It's just contaminated. You're going to kill your birds because of this small difference that you want to save. So let's not give our birds contaminated feeds. Let us not give them contaminated water. Let's try to keep hygiene as much as we can. Now the last disease I want us to talk about are worms. There are so many types of worms. Okay, they are the external worms and the internal worms. I think here we're going to talk about so much of the internal worms. You see, if you enter your chicken house, especially at night, and your birds are sleeping, and then it's like a generator in there, that kind of, I may not bring it out well, but that kind of the generator sound, just know your chicks are being affected by the worms. It's different from flu. In most cases, flu, it's going to sneeze, something like that. That is flu. But that thing of like as if someone is snoring, as if there is a generator in your chicken house. Now those are worms that are affecting your birds. It's very, very, very important you deworm your birds at least once a month. But don't deworm birds that are less than 2 months old. Okay, so let's try to start deworming at about 3 months onwards. So we know our birds are old, we can deworm them every month. Give them some dewormers at least once. We can do it using herbal way. Things like the pawpaw leaves. We have been showing you how to use them. Pawpaw leaves, the pawpaw themselves, the seeds. Then you can even go for things like peppermintic, things like the liver side, a very good dewormer. You know, those chemical medicine. Let's try to work between the chemical and the local herbs. So it's very important you deworm your birds at least once a month. Don't over deworm them every week. No, they're going to lose appetite and weight, and it's going to become a problem. But every time you come in your chicken house and there is that funny sound of someone is snoring or there's a generator in there, please, you need to deworm your birds. So guys, we have talked about so many things. Things like in my language we call them obololo. I don't know, maybe someone should put a comment in the comment section and tell us what obololo is in English. I have tried to, you know, these very small insects that are moving all over your the body of the chicken. Very small, those ones. They are also part of the worms. Those are the external ones. Now, those ones in most cases, if your chicken has a lot of them, it may stop laying. Okay? So, those of you who have the chicken and always send me questions, my chicken have stopped laying, my chicken are not laying and yet they are old, please check if they have those external, those small insects. I don't know what they are called, but please, if someone can help us to drop that name, I will tag it in this video. Please just drop it in the section and let's learn together. I don't know the English word for those small insects. They are usually so common on the chicken, but once your birds have them, trust me, they are not going to lay, or they are going to be skipping. Today they lay, and then after 4 days they will lay another egg, so they are not going to be consistent in laying. So we have talked about so many diseases, guys. I hope you have picked a leaf or two, and this is going to help you and change your farm forever. Guys, don't forget, I always insist, whenever you can get training, go for it. Train your workers, train your managers, train yourself. Get to know all these things, and don't just train. Okay, I don't recommend you to be taking every train that comes, you know, in your area. Today they're going to train about piggery, then you are gone. Today they are going to train about goats, then the other day it is chicken, then the other day it is rabbits, then you're going to lose a sense of everything. You're going to be when your farm is about 90% complete, and now you look at the goats and now think you made a mistake. Now you're going to break everything, start on the goats. Before you know it, they are bringing piggery, and now you're breaking the goats. You're going to just be confused. Okay, I always tell you, identify one thing you want to do with. If it's local birds, go for the local birds. If it's piggery, please. If it's goats, go for that. Get enough training in it, get enough skills, get all the basics you need, train your workers, train your managers, and do the right thing. Till next time, you guys have been a wonderful class. I love you so much. Bye-bye.